to a breakthrough discovery that could help geoscientists better predict an eruption and save lives.
Yellowstone National Park could be sitting on a time bomb. There is a supervolcano underneath the national treasure.
The USGS just dropped a red alert on Yellowstone, and it's got scientists sweating. Something wild is happening underground, and it's happening way faster than anyone expected. The magma chamber underneath Yellowstone is expanding like crazy, and this sudden change has kicked off emergency monitoring across the entire region. A red alert isn't just some casual warning. It's only used when something big is about to pop off, like volcanic eruptions or serious ground instability. And right now, all signs point to trouble brewing beneath one of the most dangerous supervolcanoes on Earth. Yellowstone's been under the microscope for years because of its explosive history. The last time it blew, around 640,000 years ago, it left a massive 45-mile-wide crater and straight up reshaped the whole area. Since then, it's mostly been chill, just little quakes and bubbling hot springs. But all that might be changing fast. New data from satellites, deep Earth sensors, and seismic tools is telling a whole different story. The magma chamber that's been slowly swelling for decades? It's now expanding at a scary pace. Something major is happening beneath the surface, and it's breaking all the usual patterns. It started off subtle, slight ground movements here and there. But then, the swelling got more intense, especially around Norris Geyser Basin and the caldera's western edge. That's when scientists knew they had to dig deeper. The results? Shocking. Imaging shows the giant magma reservoir beneath Yellowstone is getting flooded with fresh magma, way faster than it can cool off or leak out. Turns out, there's an intense push from the Earth's mantle. Hot, buoyant rock is rising like a geyser from below, cramming the chamber with new molten material non-stop. Something's shifting under Yellowstone, and it's happening now. This non-stop surge of molten rock is cranking up the pressure underground, and it's starting to tear things apart. The rock layers around Yellowstone are bulging and cracking, and scientists say this ain't just normal stress. It's the kind of shift that leads to major eruptions. What's got them especially shook? The rise of harmonic tremors, low-frequency, repetitive quakes that sound like Earth's warning siren. These aren't your everyday earthquakes. They're the signature of magma on the move, pushing, twisting, flowing through the crust in wild and unpredictable ways. Lately, the region's been getting rocked by quake swarms, hundreds of small tremors hitting over just a few days. But here's the twist. These quakes aren't coming from tectonic plates rubbing against each other. Nah, these ones are shallow, centered close to the surface, meaning the real culprit is magma making its way upward. This kind of behavior has shown up right before eruptions at other volcanoes. So Yellowstone acting like this? That's why USGS wasn't playing when they hit the red alert button. And let's be clear, USGS doesn't throw around red alerts for fun. They only raise the level when the signs are serious, and that's exactly what's happening now. It doesn't mean an eruption is guaranteed, but it does mean Yellowstone is heating up in a way that can't be ignored. Every single shift in the ground, every gas puff, every rumble matters now. Scientists are watching everything in real time. Even the geysers are acting up. Some that hadn't erupted in years are suddenly going off. And those steam vents, fumaroles, are blasting out way more gas, especially sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide. That kind of activity usually means magma's getting close to the surface. Bottom line, Yellowstone's system is alive and active, and nobody knows what it's about to do next. These wild surface changes are just more proof. Yellowstone's underground system is getting supercharged. Think of it like a giant pressure cooker, sealed tight under layers of rock. And the crazy part? Yellowstone's magma chamber sits way closer to the surface than most volcanoes. In some spots, it's just a few kilometers deep. That shallow depth is a big deal. It means magma doesn't have far to go if the pressure gets too real. And what's inside that chamber? Thick, sticky magma loaded with silica, the kind that traps gas like a shaken soda bottle, until it blows sky high. To really grasp what's at stake, you gotta understand what makes supervolcanoes different from regular ones. Normal volcanoes, like Mount Fuji or Mount St. Helens, shoot lava and ash in dramatic fountains. But Yellowstone? If it goes off, it won't just erupt, it'll explode with a force that could cover entire continents in ash. A full Yellowstone eruption isn't just some local disaster. It would wreck the global climate, mess up food supplies, and force millions to flee. It's the kind of event that could change life as we know it. And while scientists say that level of eruption is still not likely anytime soon, that doesn't mean we're in the clear. Even without a full-blown eruption, the risks are serious. That swelling magma chamber could trigger hydrothermal explosions, brutal blasts of steam and gas that can hit out of nowhere and turn deadly for anyone nearby. The ground itself could start collapsing, opening sinkholes as the Earth weakens under stress. And don't forget the gas. Yellowstone's system can leak toxic fumes like sulfur dioxide, putting animals and people at risk. Bottom line, something powerful is building under Yellowstone. And it's not just a small shift, it's a whole new level of activity. These earthquake swarms aren't just shaking the ground, they're setting up the perfect storm for landslides and infrastructure damage, especially in the fragile Yellowstone Plateau, where the terrain is already hanging by a thread. This red alert level means officials are now rethinking the entire emergency playbook. Evacuation routes are being redrawn, backup plans are getting tested, and communication systems are being fine-tuned for instant alerts. Park rangers are teaming up with federal agencies to make sure everyone, from campers to nearby towns, can be warned immediately if things take a turn. Meanwhile, scientists are on the ground around the clock. They've cranked up their fieldwork using drones, mobile seismic gear, and more, all to track what's really going on deep below Yellowstone. Thanks to huge tech upgrades over the past decade, researchers now have real-time eyes on the park like never before. GPS stations all over the area are tracking minute-by-minute ground movement, while powerful satellites using INSAR tech give a top-down view of every shift in the surface. Add in borehole sensors that listen deep underground and gas monitors sniffing the air for dangerous emissions, and you've got a high-tech web watching every move this supervolcano makes. But even with all this gear, Yellowstone is still a wild card. Geological changes happen on massive timescales, and even the smartest models can only give probabilities, not clear answers. What's freaking scientists out right now is that this behavior doesn't match anything they've seen before. Yellowstone has had active phases before, but never this fast, never this extreme. At least not since we've been watching with modern tools. And that's the real danger. The rules might be changing, and nobody's totally sure what comes next. Yeah, a full-blown super eruption is the nightmare scenario, but it's not the only one on the table. Yellowstone's magma chamber might cool off naturally, easing pressure through small eruptions or extra steam bursts. But there's also a real chance it keeps inflating, leading to moderate eruptions that wouldn't end the world, but could still shake up the entire region in a major way. And that uncertainty? That's what makes this situation so tense. We're dealing with a wild card, and it demands serious attention. One thing's for sure. Yellowstone has entered a new phase. This ain't business as usual. The red alert isn't just a warning. It's a reminder that we're living on top of a restless planet. All those peaceful hot springs, those picture-perfect geysers, they sit right above a ticking geological engine that could flip the script in seconds. Scientists are doing everything they can, decoding every signal, building models, scanning deep underground. But nature moves at its own pace. It doesn't wait for us to catch up. That rapid expansion of the magma chamber is proof enough. This supervolcano is not asleep. It's alive, it's active, and it's changing shape every day. Whether this ends in an eruption or just fades into another quiet stretch, nobody knows yet. But right now, that red alert stands tall, not just as a scientific update, but as a wake-up call for all of us. It forces tough questions about how ready we are, how well we understand what's going on beneath our feet, and how we'd handle the unthinkable. All eyes are on Yellowstone now, and the next move? That's up to the volcano. The red alert wasn't just a wake-up call. It marked a historic turning point in how we watch Yellowstone. Now the spotlight is shifting deep underground, to the strange and unstable layers hidden inside the volcano's magma chamber. Scientists have long believed that Yellowstone's magma body isn't just one big blob. It's layered, like a deadly cake, with each level having different heat, gas levels, and thickness. But now, with the magma chamber expanding fast, these layers might be colliding in unpredictable ways, throwing the whole system out of balance. Here's why that matters. When hot, runny magma from deep below gets pushed into the thicker, cooler upper layers, it can cause all kinds of unstable reactions. Gases trapped in that sticky magma can get released fast and violently, jacking up pressure from the inside without warning. These dangerous shifts might not show up on the surface right away, but they build up tension, setting the stage for a future blast that could come out of nowhere. Right now, volcanologists are locked in, trying to decode all these underground moves. But that's not all. There's been a serious uptick in gas emissions from Yellowstone's geothermal zones. Scientists are analyzing the gases down to their atomic fingerprints to figure out where they're coming from. And the latest results? Wild. The ratios of carbon, helium, and sulfur clearly show that the gases are coming from deep inside the Earth, not just surface-level steam. That means magma from the lower crust is rising up, more often and more intensely than before. This geochemical proof is a huge deal. It backs up everything else: the ground swelling, the quake swarms, the heat spikes. Yellowstone's system is shifting, bubbling, and getting more unstable by the day. And what's most terrifying? It's all happening deep below, hidden, building pressure, and ready to surprise us at any moment. At the same time, Yellowstone's surface is starting to act different. And it's not just the ground swelling. The pressure building beneath the crust is messing with the park's entire water system. Groundwater flow and temperature are shifting, and geysers are going rogue. Some dormant springs are suddenly bubbling again, while others have totally changed their flow paths. These weird changes are giving scientists fresh clues about what's happening beneath the surface, showing how the underground pressure is redirecting water in ways never seen before. But here's the real shocker. Tiny fractures are forming far beyond the known magma chamber. Using high-tech gear like seismic arrays and laser strain meters, scientists have spotted microcracks spreading into areas that were once thought to be completely stable. That means the stress from Yellowstone's magma system is reaching way outside the mapped danger zone, raising serious new concerns about how far an eruption or quake could actually hit. Inside the scientific world, not everyone agrees on what this means. Most researchers say the red alert is the right call, but there's a big debate heating up. Some think this is the start of Yellowstone slowly waking up after centuries of calm. Others believe it's just a short-term burst of energy that'll settle down again. One camp warns that geological shifts like this can play out over hundreds of years, gradually building toward something major. The other side says, not so fast, pointing out that rapid changes like these have happened right before serious volcanic events in the past. Either way, one thing's clear. The need for better, sharper monitoring has never been higher. And not just for science. The effects of this could spill over into infrastructure planning, public health, and environmental safety, even without a full eruption. Because when Yellowstone moves, the whole world watches, and this time, it's moving in ways nobody expected. Major disruptions are no longer just what-ifs, they're now real possibilities. If things escalate, air traffic over Yellowstone could get grounded fast. Even small eruptions could throw up gas clouds or ash plumes dangerous enough to shut down flights, and it's not just the skies at risk. Water supplies coming from Yellowstone's watershed might get hit with chemical contamination or disrupted by the heat warping underground flow. That could mean tainted drinking water or sudden shortages in nearby communities. Farms in the region could also take a hit, not just from falling ash, but from messed up groundwater levels and changes in soil chemistry caused by all the underground pressure and heat. Now, with all this in motion, fast and reliable communication has become the top priority for emergency crews. Volcanic systems like Yellowstone are known for flipping the switch with almost no warning, so waiting around isn't an option. That's why traditional alerts are now backed up by mobile push notifications, radio blasts, and even satellite messages, so people can get evacuation alerts in minutes, not hours. Emergency drills are now happening across Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, where teams are training with geologists on everything from road shutdowns to full-on mass evacuations. But there's another layer: the mental toll. Yellowstone has always been this mythic beast in people's minds, so seeing it move from just being watched to red alert mode has sparked both fear and fascination. Social media is now buzzing with wild theories, doomsday predictions, and a whole lot of confusion. A lot of it? Straight up misinformation. That's why scientists are stepping in with factual updates, trying to cut through the panic while still being honest about the risks. And to calm the chaos, educational campaigns are now rolling out to help people understand the difference between real danger and internet hype. Because knowing the truth could be the thing that keeps people safe if Yellowstone takes the next step. While everyone's watching the magma chamber, some scientists are digging even deeper, literally. Yellowstone sits on top of a hotspot that's been shifting for millions of years, leaving a trail of ancient volcanoes across the western US. This means the forces feeding Yellowstone might actually come from way below the Earth's crust, tied to deep mantle plumes that are still not fully understood. This latest expansion phase is giving researchers a rare shot to study how these deep underground forces shape not just Yellowstone, but hotspot volcanoes worldwide. At the same time, all this activity is putting the spotlight on weaker zones in the Earth's crust that surround the Yellowstone caldera. Fault lines that were once thought to be dead are now acting suspiciously active again. Early signs show that pressure from the magma chamber might be squeezing these faults, raising the risk of slippage, which could trigger earthquakes or surface ruptures even outside the main danger zone. That opens the door to something worse: a combo of volcanic chaos and tectonic drama all at once. With the red alert in full swing, research teams across the world are rushing to work together like never before. Geologists, hydrologists, chemists, and atmospheric scientists are building high-powered predictive models, tracking everything from magma thickness to shifting aquifers. And they're not just working off guesses, they've got live data feeds from satellites, GPS, seismic stations, and gas monitors pumping into their models non-stop. These simulations let them run different eruption scenarios and stress tests in real time. Some models are even showing that before any major eruption, Yellowstone could unleash a string of dome uplifts or phreatic steam-driven explosions, giving us warning signs and a small window to react. Bottom line, Yellowstone's not just about a single big blast. It's a complex machine, and right now, every part of it is moving. While everyone's focused on what's bubbling below, glaciologists are keeping a close watch on what's happening above, in Yellowstone's icy, snow-covered regions. If steam blasts or small eruptions start melting that ice too quickly, it could trigger flash floods or even lahars, those fast-moving rivers of mud, water, and debris that can wipe out everything in their path. This clash of fire and ice is real and dangerous. In Yellowstone's rugged alpine terrain, rising heat from below could easily spark destructive floods that roll down valleys and hit communities downstream. Meanwhile, environmental scientists are tracking something just as wild: what this underground chaos is doing to life above. As the ground heats up and new gases leak out, the soil, water, and air chemistry is shifting fast. Some of Yellowstone's weirdest microbial life, organisms that survive in extreme conditions, are being pushed out of their homes. But others? They're exploding in numbers, taking over new hot zones being formed by the heat. This shakeup could seriously change Yellowstone's entire ecosystem. And who knows? In the middle of it all, scientists might stumble on new extremophile species with strange biochemical tricks we've never seen before. But one thing is becoming very clear. The magma chamber is growing fast, and it's got the whole scientific world on edge. Yellowstone's not sleeping like people thought. It's moving, shifting, heating up, and becoming harder to predict by the day. An eruption still isn't guaranteed, but this volcano is clearly in flux. The deeper the magma rises and the more fractures split through the rock, the more unstable this entire system becomes. What lies beneath Yellowstone? Molten uncertainty. And every day it builds, we're one step closer to the unknown. This isn't just some quiet mountain range. Yellowstone is alive, and it's moving with power we barely understand. That red alert isn't just a heads up, it's a wake-up call. A signal that something big is shifting below our feet. Every little tremor, every puff of volcanic gas, every inch the ground rises. It's all part of a much bigger story. A story about a restless giant that's watching, waiting, and could strike when we least expect it. Right now, Yellowstone stands at the edge, part wonder, part threat. A place that reminds us just how small we are when nature decides to move. This isn't just a science update. It's a challenge to be ready, to stay alert, and to respect the raw force that's building beneath the American West. The magma chamber is expanding faster than ever, and we're only seeing the first chapters of what could be a massive event. So if you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Yellowstone is waking up? Let's talk about it before the ground does.